There we go. Okay. So I meant to start filming last night, but I ended up just writing it all down. So I'm basically just gonna read from my phone. This is not, technically it's still not scripted, it's still not planned, and it's still very much raw and real and in the moment. But this is not going to be a how-to video. This is going to be a pep talk. I'm going to take you along my journey, and if this resonates with you, awesome. If it doesn't, I don't know. And it doesn't. So, real talk. We're starting a breastfeeding journey. I just thought about this, and so I'm going to go with it. It's hard for women to feel safe and empowered about the journey when you have moms out there putting out videos looking all put together. By the way, I just put my hair up in a bun. I actually looked worse than this. And I wish I would have recorded looking worse than this. Yesterday was a pretty bad day. We'll continue reading. Moms putting out there looking all put together, gathering notes and thoughts, and discussing their journey after it's over. Never do you see the realness of the journey itself, and I get it. The journey itself usually isn't pretty. It's rough. There's usually an ugly monster or bad food involved. That was me trying to be funny. Like fairy tales, you know, like the poison apple and monsters. Okay. And also, we don't want to be judged how we react in the moment. In the heat of transitioning from the way life used to be to how we were trying to shape it to be. So here's where I come in. I need a shower. I still do. I just finished crying my eyes out because of overstimulation, and I'm ready to put out an actual real video. This is going to be my journey. I'm starting it now while I'm in the trenches of it, because while it was going good for the last 2 weeks, this last week has defeated me. So here we are, and here I go, weaning my almost 2-year-old, 21-month-old. So I guess this will be my first real introduction. I have something in my teeth. Yeah. So I could have also just read that over, like at a voiceover at the beginning of something. Maybe I will. I don't know. Editing me. We'll see. But I'm hot. I just changed into a clean shirt. I just put my hair up in a haphazard, lopsided, messy bun. I haven't washed my face. I haven't taken a shower. I have her plopped in the living room right now watching Bluey, so if you hear that in the background, listen. It's been a rough couple days, or maybe 48 hours, or at this point 72 hours. So my breastfeeding journey. Let's just start my breastfeeding journey 101. It's been great, honestly, and I say that very cautiously in the sense of I know not all mamas have a good breastfeeding journey. I, for the most part, haven't had like any complaints about the breastfeeding journey. I never got mastitis. I never had a flow or supply problem. She latched immediately. And we're still breastfeeding, and she's about to be 2 in a couple months. So systematically or mathematically, she's 21 months old. Now, a part of me, no. Now, I don't feel shame at all that I'm still breastfeeding her. None. I don't feel embarrassed. I could keep going until she's 2.5, 3 years old because that's what's recommended. But my body has not been my own for the last pregnancy, 1-year-old, 2, 3 years. And I'm actually starting to feel more like myself, which is great. And when I decided to actually try and start systematically the breastfeeding journey, it was going really great for 2 weeks. It was hard for me because she stopped taking a bottle at 3 months, so I would still pump, but she was always just like a purely breastfed baby. So I really didn't have help in the sense that I could just tap out and have Chris come in and feed her the bottle, because when she was 4 months old, she just stopped taking it. So back to the weaning. It was hard for me to even think about how I'm gonna do this weaning process, because all the articles, all the advice columns, all the freaking forums and the videos that I see, the moms look pretty, they look put together, they tell you, oh, I got my baby weaned off in 72 hours. How I got my baby weaned off a weekend. 12 steps to get your baby weaned off in 12 weeks or 12 days or something like that. And I'm just like, this doesn't work for me. None of these work for me. And I've implemented certain things from certain videos and advice columns and articles that they say that you should start doing. Number one is I've been wearing a bra in the house, because it's like, don't make it readily available to her. And by the way, I'm just gonna talk all over the place because this is how I talk to my best friend. My thoughts are all over the place. I'm unorganized right now. This is just a pep talk. This is just me spewing my experience, and I'm going to be going through this until the whole weaning process is done. This is day 1 technically that I'm recording this, even though I've been doing this for the last 2 weeks. And at the end of this video, you'll see how long it actually took me, ups and downs. I'm going to try and be really real with you, hoping that it's just love and support from the viewers, from you guys, and that you don't judge me. That's the other thing. We don't want to be judged as mothers. Because breastfeeding is supposed to be beautiful and nurturing and biological to us, you know? So to go off another train of thought, I physically started the weaning process 2 weeks ago, and it was going fantastic. And now what I mean by that is that she's breastfed on demand. So all the articles were trying to tell me like, oh, drop a feed, you know, schedule, you know, do this, that, and the third. And I'm like, I don't schedule. I don't keep track of when she feeds, of how long she feeds, how much she drinks. Like, it's like, also she's a toddler, so she eats a lot during the day. And she likes to soothe. So I would have to differentiate if she wanted to latch on because she was hurt, she was crying, or she was thirsty. And sometimes I'm so tired that it's mindless. It's just like, okay, and I let her have some. What else? What am I trying to say? So what I started doing is I started to physically track the times that she would breastfeed. I would take snapshots, and I noticed that she would breastfeed every like 4 hours. So that would be like maybe like 4 times a day, maybe. When she woke up, right? And we'll get back to the morning weaning in a second. When she woke up, sometimes after her lunch, or sometimes after her breakfast or lunch, right? Either or. Usually not after dinner, but definitely after bath time. So every 4 hours, or give or take, depending on how long she napped for. There were also days that I just didn't get enough sleep, and the weaning process was going so great because I was able to time that she was only getting it every 4 hours, and then I was able to extend it that she only got it every 6 hours, every 7 hours. There was one day that she didn't drink, she only drank twice, and it was in the morning and it was at night. And it was great, and it took a lot of like keeping the baby preoccupied and not saying no. That's the other thing that the articles say. What is it? It's don't ask, don't refuse, something like that. Don't offer it to them, but if they ask for it, don't refuse. She will ask every hour. If I let her, you know. And it's not that I don't like it. So it's gotten to the point that like I 100%, I love it in the mornings, I love it at night, but sometimes in the middle of the day where it's just like I would rather just sit down and cuddle with her on the couch than have her latched on to me. Okay, so I'm going off on a rant here. So it was going good for 2 weeks, and then just this last week, I hate to say this because it's like, but she regressed. So, and I don't know what I did wrong. I don't know if she's just that she's going through something, but she regressed into like wanting it every hour all over again, unless she's preoccupied during the day, for the most part, and for nap time. So the difficult part about the weaning process, and why I couldn't relate and find a video or an article out there that made me feel good, made me feel supported and heard, is because every article would, you know, I feel like it just didn't take into consideration the actual toll and attachment and responsibility and just time and just, I don't know, all of the words that come with breastfeeding itself. Like, if the advice that I would give it, the advice that most of the things that I couldn't relate to that frustrate me, was to drop a feed, right? So I have to time it out, or to extend periods of time. So you know, if she's showing signs that she wants it, offer her something else, offer her food, offer her something to drink, offer a distraction. So, and I know this is a process, but it just frustrated me because it just felt like, okay, now this is more energy that I have to put into basically trying to get her to not even think about the boob, and you know, offer a distraction, which means that I would have to take her out. And that was another thing that just like weighed on me, like, okay, now I have to take her out 3-4 times a day. Like, that's a lot. And we don't have, this is not a stroller friendly apartment building. And mostly, I mean, Chris does the morning shift, but I do the whole afternoon, evening, nighttime by myself. So it's just all me. And I have dinner, I have lunch, I have the house to entertain her, to take care of myself. And so the fact that it was like, oh, offer distraction, take them out for a walk, do an activity with them. I'm like, I'm already doing that just for entertainment's sake of my toddler. So now I have to add on more to distract her off of the boob to continue this weaning process, right? And then the other thing is wear a bra. Fine, I'm wearing a bra. That doesn't stop her. She will literally yank my bra off. And then the other thing was, what was the other thing? Oh, to put like vinegar or something spicy on my nipple, or to just say flat out no and let them cry it out. Or the other thing, my favorite, leave them with someone for a weekend, or go somewhere for a weekend, so that your partner or your mother is forced to deal with them, and they're broken out of the habit. That's horrible. I think that's horrible. I cannot do that. Well, first of all, where am I gonna go? Who's paying for me to go somewhere? Right? I can't go anywhere. And then to solely just like leave it on my partner, why am I gonna make Chris have to deal with her all the tantrums? She's really attached to me. She's really attached to us. And I love that attachment. I'm not, it's not a love-hate relationship with me and breastfeeding. I have loved it. I love this journey. I am cool with breastfeeding in the morning, maybe once in the middle of the day, and in the evening. But if I can just get it down to those 3, that would be beautiful, because it'd be like, okay, it's boob time. And there's times that I have offered her the boob when we were weaning. The last 2 weeks it was going great, and she said no. So, and I know it's like, don't offer, don't, but it's because I didn't know what she wanted. So I'm like, do you want boob? And she was like, no. And I'm just like, okay, like, awesome. So, and then some articles also saying that it's not wise to start weaning when your child is going through something. And I'm like, my child's gonna be going through something for the next 4 to 5 years, like until they're 5 years old. So, whereas I think I started the weaning process in a great time, I don't know if she's going through a growth spurt, if she's going through her last round of teething, because she's about to be 2. But this last week has been very, very hard. And what makes it difficult is that, like, and this is so funny, but my feet hurt because I cannot sit down. Because when I sit down, is that for me? Thank you. She thinks it's time to feed. So I can't sit in my usual spots. So for the most part, throughout the whole day, I'm usually just leaning over something. I can't sit down. And it's just been like this last week, and that's why I wanted to come on here and talk about it. And this is going to be a long video, I already know. Maybe I could break it up into parts so it's not so daunting. But this is my pep talk. And this is my pep talk part 1. The first stage. I don't know, maybe we'll do 3 stages. But this is the initial stage, and it's hard when you have like those spots that you breastfeed in the house. And when you sit down, when I sit down to have my morning coffee, she climbs on top of me, and I try not to say no, you know. The morning wean is going to be the hardest because usually she likes to latch on 3 or 4 times, and it's because she likes to alternate. And I know that that's normal because I've seen other moms do that, but she'll latch on like 3 or 4 times within the span of 2 hours, and that's her, like, that's the span of her morning feed. I'll pick her up from bed when she wakes up, 5, 6 in the morning. I'll give her feed in our bed, we'll cuddle. She'll have that fine. But then within the next hour, I'll come out here, I'll make myself coffee, if I want a little bagel, a little something, a little breakfast. When I sit on the couch, she mounts me, she wants to latch on again. And so that just makes things difficult because it means that I can't relax, I can't have a slow morning sometimes. And that wasn't always the case. When we were weaning, I was able to sit on the couch and she would just sit down next to me. So it's like, I feel like we went back because I had 2 weeks of it going very, very well. I was able to prolong each feed, and now it's just regressed. And it's hard. It's very hard because whereas you love your child and you love breastfeeding so much, you get overstimulated just from the sheer physical touch of it all. And she's learning how to speak, so now she's following me around the house and she's just saying mama, and she's saying more. And I know it's because she's going through something, but she can't still physically tell me, express her emotions. So she wants to latch, she wants to soothe, and I've been offering it to her, I'm not gonna lie, because I'm not gonna make her feel like her comfort is being taken away from her, her agency. She doesn't have control over the fact that she's going through her growth spurt, that her teeth hurt, that her tummy hurts, you know, like, so just know that it's not easy. This whole weaning process is not easy, and if it's been easy for you, bless your heart, bless you. If you had a breastfeeding baby, or if you had a bottle baby, formula, however you do it, however you do your breastfeeding weaning journey is right for you. This is how mine's going. It's not going so well so far. It's going great, and you know what, maybe it is going well. We're allowed to have hiccups, but these YouTubers, these mamas, I'm being pulled away. These mamas that come on here and they tell you about their tips and tricks, about how they made it work. They look nice. The background is clean. It's quiet. They have all the thoughts laid out, and it's fine. It's beautiful. It's informative. It's their job. But I would like to see a mom come on here and looking like she just rolled out. Oh, yeah, you can't have that. That needs to get cooked. She would like she wants some raw turkey, guys. That's what she wants. What else? This is what real life is. And it's okay that this is real life. And we all know that YouTubers and Instagrammers, everything is staged for the most part. Everything is edited, no matter how natural it is. I need to stop saying It's not pretty. The weaning process is not pretty. It can be beautiful, it can be empowering, but it can also be very sad and very stressful. And that's okay. I'm not going to sugarcoat the sad and stressful. I will not show you myself crying and breaking down or her having a tantrum because it's out of respect. But not because I'm trying to hide it from you or make it seem like this has been going great. 12 weeks, success. No. So, full babble. I'm just gonna stop this here because my throat hurts, frankly, and maybe I will pick this back up later. So this morning has already not gone well. In terms of weaning, because she woke up at 6, brought her to bed at 6. She had a feed, both boobs, then went off. Chris took her, and then within an hour and a half she came back to the bed 2 times. And then when I went on the sofa, when I got up out of bed, she came on to me 3 times, and I just latched her on, honestly, because I wanted to sit down because my feet hurt. So that's already, it's only 9:30. She woke up at 6:30. So in 3 hours, she's, I don't know, count how many boobs that is. That's how many times she's latched on. So this morning already hasn't gone so well. So what I'm going to try to do is not give her boob, not give her milk, not latch her on until she wakes up from her first nap. Or that's unrealistic because she actually, I nip nap her. So I will give her milk to go to sleep. So it's morning, nap, after lunch, because that's usually after nap. So before nap, after nap, and then bedtime. So those are my 4 feeds that I'm able to actually plan out, map out, and keep consistently. But because this morning has already been a little screwed, and she usually takes a nap between 10 and 12, and it's already 9, like, and she's already been on me like all morning. So, but I'm not going to be discouraged. The second half of the day I'm hoping will go well. If I have to nip nap her to sleep, fine. Hopefully she takes a 2-3 hour nap, because when she wakes up, the first thing I'm gonna do is give her lunch, and then maybe boob. And then we'll play, dinner, bath, boob again. So my goal is to only give her boob 3 more times today, officially. Will that happen? I don't know. I don't know, because she's definitely going through something, and I'm not gonna refuse her the boob. But if I do see that she's not drinking and she is soothing, I'm gonna have to gently coax her off and offer her some other level of comfort. So, I mean, she's only, I've known moms that breastfeed until 2.5, 3. And I think what's frustrating about those videos that I watch is that they're like, oh, you know, like, it's so hard to try and drop a feed, or, you know, it was difficult to do this, that, and the other because I would have to feed her, or I couldn't go on trips, and, you know, like, and then I'm like, but you only feed them 2 times a day. Like, I understand that their reality is like the morning and the evening, like, that's still too much for them. Like, they can't go on overnight or something like that. But to deal with me, that I'm just like breastfed on demand, like, it's just like, I'm a milk machine, I'm a cow. I look at those moms and I can't relate to them, and it makes me upset, it makes me annoyed, and it makes me angry, because I'm like, bro, I love everything you do except the fact that I feel like you're sugarcoating a lot of things. And I know it's out of respect for like your child and your life and just your vibe's sake, but honestly, motherhood is hard, even for moms that have wanted it their entire life. It's hard, and it doesn't mean I love her less. Okay, I don't know what day it is. I'll put it on the screen. I am not gonna lie, this weaning journey is really rough. I gave up there for like a good 2 weeks. But it's a new day. It's a new Monday. I'm starting up again. So far it's been going good. She's definitely she's like teething all over again, so it's been rough, and she's talking, like saying words and trying to communicate with us her needs. So they say it's not good to like wean a child, especially a solely breastfed child, while they're going through something, but I'm like, she's always going to be going through something. I really feel that she's ready to wean. I've been ready since she was a year. She's about to be 2. I kind of had in my brain, I'm like, all right, well, if she goes at 2.5, 3, you know, that's fine, because the breastfeeding organization, association, whatever, says that that's good, it's normal for baby. But I'm like, but what's good for me? I don't feel that it's helping her anymore. I think it's at this point, and I say this lovingly because I don't actually believe in the full word, but I do feel like it's a crutch. I feel like it's stopping her from exploring new ways of soothing herself and new ways of bonding with me. I am going to try and get to the point that there's only a morning feed and a night feed. I'm going to try and do that for 2 weeks, and then drop the night feed entirely for like maybe another 2 weeks, possibly a month, and then try and just, I mean, by that point I feel like I'll be all dried up, and it'll be easy for me to be like, okay, you're done. So by her 2nd birthday, I'm hoping to have her completely weaned off. But today is a Monday. It's a new day. I'm going to try the every 4 hours method all over again, because that's kind of the pattern that she started developing anyway. I don't do a schedule, but it's a pattern I can stick with, because that means that she only has 4 feedings, and then I could drop one, and then I can drop another. So I'm gonna try and do this whole week. Chris is helping me. He took her out. It's already been 4 hours, so when she comes, she's probably gonna want some milk, but I got some food on the stove for her so that I can kind of deter her. So she's still doing like a nip nap, in terms of she still drinks herself to sleep. So what ends up happening is it's the morning feed, and I probably already addressed this, and I've probably been less positive in the other videos, but this is the future. It's the morning feed, and then it's the pre-nap feed into naps, and then it's usually the after naps feed, which can either happen after she's had her lunch, or right before she's had her lunch. And then it's supposed to be the, I don't know why I did it this way, the nip to sleep, the feed before bedtime. So because I usually start bedtime routine around 5. I give her dinner, she gets her bath around 6, she's ready to go to bed at 7. So, and she usually takes her naps from 10 to 1. So I usually give her milks around 1, 2, and then 4 hours, 6. So it kind of works out, it evens out. So I'm gonna try and do this for a week, and then I'm gonna drop a feed, do it for another week, drop a feed, because essentially we have 2 months until her birthday. And if she's still feeding, you know, even at her birthday, fine. But I feel like she is drinking milk now, but not out of a cup. She likes having cereal. So there's just a lot of things that are encouraging me to proceed with actually going through this weaning process. It's rough. I have no set, organized, methodical way of doing this. I'm doing this the way that it's kind of flowing, working for me. She's guiding me in terms of how long she can go without it. If she's truly distracted and we're having a grand old time, she can go 7 hours without a feed, which is why I think doing the morning and the night feed will be good, because I can do morning, she can wait, and then distract her, nap, fine, and then night, and then she sleeps through the night, and then morning again. So yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna come back to this vlog, but it's Monday. We are refreshing, changing our approach, our attitude in this approach. And I hope by the end of this video, I have fully weaned her off. Meaning, like, whenever this video ends. I guess we'll see the timeline. This is gonna be fun. I'm like nervous, excited, nervous laugh. All right. Making it happen. Coming to you fresh out the shower. It's been a couple days since the end of this. So weaning, my weaning journey. We're still in the weaning process. I'm sorry about the noise pollution. I can't control that. I took notes. So I have been writing down every single day my whole weaning journey. This is going to be my 2-week recap of when I officially started. So yeah, this is my 2-week recap, and let's just get started. So 2 weeks, I wanted to develop a routine because, as I said in my previous video, I believe, I was trying to develop a routine at first, and then something happened. She was probably going through something, and it just broke apart, and I was completely discouraged. So I felt that she was ready again to restart a routine, to develop a routine of every 4 hours on giving her milks rather than just on demand. And that way I can start eliminating a feed, which is what moms recommend. It's definitely been a process. The 2 weeks have passed, and I was able to develop a routine and stick to it. Some days were better than others, and now I'm at the point after 2 weeks that I am starting to eliminate a feed. It is definitely challenging to eliminate a feed. I'm not going to be writing down every single day of that because I'm just trying to eliminate one feed for now. I am just taking, I guess, note of when it started, when I started eliminating a feed, and I'm going to try and eliminate this feed for another 2 weeks. And then another 2 weeks, I'm gonna eliminate the last feed midday, which is her post-nap feed. And that'll be a month and a half. And then gotta figure out how to actually just wean her off completely from the morning and night. But let's just get to this recap before I start talking about my thoughts, because I will go off on a tangent. So weaning journey. Weaning my almost 2-year-old. Now, week 1 started on August 22nd and it ended August 28th, obviously. I have a lot here. I don't know if I want to read it. We'll just go little by little, and I'll do like little recaps at the bottom of the screen. Maybe we'll see. So week 1, the first day was not too bad. I broke the 4-hour rule twice, but I stuck to my 1 night feed and I rocked her to sleep. She's been sleeping through the night. That's one thing that I did manage to stick. She does not fall asleep on the boob. So that's one thing that has come out perfect right from the start. She falls asleep in my arms, which is something that I have just been missing, because having her do a nip nap, like for naps and bedtime, it was really hard on my body. So day 2 was really hard. Yeah, so I'm gonna go through this because people don't usually talk about this. I don't know if I should do like a detail. I think I should do a detail. It's just, I feel like it's important for me to talk about it because people don't talk about the process. It's really, actually, I have notes here. All right, let's go through this really fast in detail because this is something that I feel like does not get brought up enough, the process. Day 2 was the hardest. I had to stick to my guns a lot, distract her, give her lots of love, fun, all the things. I recorded 2 small clips. So I think also these notes are so that I can insert into the video how it's going. I recorded 2 small clips. I tried to do laundry with her, coloring, walks. It's definitely a mindset that gets me going. I stuck to all 4 feeds 4 hours apart, even though it was a tough day. I'm feeling optimistic. Day 3. She woke up at 4 a.m. I was weak and gave her boob because I justified it that it was close to 5. But an hour after, she woke up again and I gave her boob again. So I'm going to try and stick to my guns and do the 4 hour. I get it. Okay, skip her nap, small moments, but day 3 wasn't too bad. In a nutshell, the first week was very hard because the first day was fine. The second day, she fought me hard. The third day, she fought me hard, but not as hard as the second. The fourth day, it started to even out. And I think on day 5 was when it really like started to go really, really well. But it's the mistake I made of, because she wakes me up at 5 every day, 5 o'clock, which means that doesn't matter what time I get her down, she just wakes me up at 5. And that's really hard for morning feeds, because we do a co-sleeping morning feed, so, or like a bed sharing. So she'll wake up at 5, I'll give her morning feed, and depending on how tired I am, if I stay in bed, she'll sneak in another feed at 6 or at 7. And it's because I'm too dead, you know? And so the morning feeds I know is gonna be the hardest to break out. The bedtime feeds I don't think will be that hard to drop, but I am a little nervous for the morning feed because she really depends on that. That's her morning cuddles, that's how she likes to start the day. But it was hard to stick to the 4 hour mark, especially because there were days that she was having a bad day. So I think it was on week 2. She had a bad day at the park. Her incisors were coming out, like she said, her fangs are coming out. She has 4 fangs coming out at the same time, and she was just cranky, and there was nothing we could do to calm her down. So I placated her with boob. I did that maybe once or twice out of the 2 weeks. I was nervous that it was going to disrupt the 2-week process, but it didn't. So it really is your call how the 2 weeks goes. I really tried to stick to the 4 hour mark, but if I broke the rules, I tried not to beat myself up too much about it. I just really tried to make it that if I broke the rules in terms of timing, because if she had an hour nap rather than 3, I at least tried to stick to 4 feeds a day. 1 in the morning, 1 at night, and 2 in the middle. However they were timed apart on bad days was my call. Now, she took to it very well. Now we're past 2 weeks. She does very well in terms of I'm allowed to sit down at certain times. I know not to freak out. It's a mindset. It's the vibe that you give off, because I used to be very frustrated immediately. My attitude would change immediately when she would try to mount me, climb me, lift up my shirt. I would get really frustrated. Now, because I don't want her to feel like she's doing anything bad in particular, I also don't want to make it a game, but I'm trying to be more loving, more careful, more compassionate, a little playful, to distract her, but not make it so that it's a game. These are not toys, these are not pacifications anymore. It is just nutrients, and I'm trying to get it so that it's only twice a day, hopefully before her 2nd birthday, and because her birthday is coming up in 2-3 weeks. So it's been a process. Let's see, the 2 weeks is over. We've consistently, I'll get her to bed between 7 and 9. On a bad day, she's gone to bed at 10:30. She sleeps through the night now. I noticed that once she stopped contact napping, weaning was just a little bit easier, because they go hand in hand. She's contact napping on me. She wakes up mid-nap, she wants boobs. And that just didn't work. So I would like to think that it's her leading me. It's kind of the parenting style I'm doing. I'm seeing where she is in her developmental milestone, pyramid, whatever you want to call it. And then I go based on that, and I let her guide me, and then I make the decision based on how I'm seeing her grow and what's better for her. I realize that she has a lot more fun during the day because she's not constantly thinking, hey, oh, I haven't had milk, let me go on mommy. And it was on demand, so it was very hard for me to stick to a schedule. So creating a schedule was already very hard for me, especially since I've been exclusively breastfeeding since she was 4 to 5 months, because she stopped taking the bottle at 3 months. And it was a decision I had to make. I never actually spoke about this. So she was a bottle and a breastfed baby. All breast milk, but still. There was no nipple confusion. She had a great time. Great time. It was a good transition. Like, she would go from bottle to boob. It was fine. But then around 3 months, she rejected the bottle a lot. And I started wasting milk because after, especially if it was pumped fresh, no, especially if it was defrosted, because pump fresh lasts longer in the fridge. But if you have it defrosted, so we just kept having to chuck ounces and ounces because it was too early for me to start baby-led weaning. So I couldn't mix the milk with food. And it was a decision I made because in the process of her dropping the bottle, she started cluster feeding. So when I would pump after she would feed, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pump out the rest so that Chris has some to bottle feed her later. She would get hungry again, but I just finished pumping. So they were empty. And then it would stress me out because I would try to latch her on, and then she would get upset because there was nothing there, but she wouldn't take the bottle. So around 4 or 5 months, I had to make the executive decision to stop pumping altogether, and it was just exclusively breastfeeding. And that's where I got to 2 years, and I've just been exclusively breastfeeding, and it has been a journey. It has been a really, really big journey. I will talk about the journey later. But I do want to say that I think it's important if you are weaning to keep a log, because whereas I can just read it, I can read off the page to you right now, piece by piece, and you'll probably find some comfort in it. Actually, you know what? I could read page by page. If you want a fully detailed how the 2-week process was to developing a schedule, to dropping feeds, to getting her fully weaned off, then leave a comment. I'm not gonna make a video unless you leave a comment, because this is also my time. If you're interested on the details on how rough it actually was, on my thoughts, on how each day took place, on how I tried to correct a mistake I might have made, I am more than happy to share, because it is very, very hard to find a good weaning video when these moms are just coming at you looking all gorgeous, makeup done, cute outfit, clean house, background is blurred, and they're like, this is how you could drop breastfeeding in 2 weeks. No, mama, I'm sorry. It's not that easy. And it's okay that it's not that easy. I honestly didn't think the scheduling would even go well. So I'm at a consistent like plateau right now, and I am basking in it because it was never like this. So I am successfully dropping a feed, so we're to 3 feeds a day instead of 4. It's very hard. I have to check my emotions. Writing helps a lot because it allows me to feel and look back, because mom brain is still real at this point. Sometimes I'll think I did completely horrible throughout the entire day. But then when I look back, I'm like, oh, I did actually fine. Like, it wasn't that, like, she hasn't had milk for 7 hours. And that's how we are. She'll have milk in the morning at 5 a.m. when she wakes up, maybe sometimes 6. And then she won't have it until after she wakes up from nap, which is like 1. And then she won't have it again until it's bedtime, which is around 7, 8. Or sometimes 6, depending if she wants to go to bed early. So I feel like I'm all over the place, but yeah. This is my 2-week recap. Okay. So here are a couple of things that helped this 2-week journey process actually become successful. And just in your breastfeeding, in your weaning journey. So I have little post-its here. These are things that I'm just like continuing to exercise even when I get to the end, but I'm just gonna put them here because it's part of my 2-week process. So there are a lot of things that I do want to say that's very important in this process. That's very distracting. I have post-it notes, and I'm gonna literally read off the post-it notes because that's what they're there for, okay? So something that's really important is you have to, and I say this for myself. This was a mantra I had to talk to myself. There's a fly in here. You have to change your mindset. That's it. If you have a goal, you have to change your mindset. You have to be more gentle, kinder, more loving. And it is going to be something that you have to reiterate and refresh yourself to do every single day, because every day is going to be different. You have to change your mindset in order for this weaning journey to work out, especially if you have a solely breastfed baby well into their toddler years and you've been a stay-at-home mom for 2 years like me, and you know, you just have a baby that just needs a little bit more attention than other babies. It's okay. This is my baby girl. I'm speaking from experience, from my life, and you're gonna be fine, even when it seems like you're not, because I truly did not think this day would come, that I'm sitting here feeling confident about the weaning process. I was, as you saw in the earlier clips, defeated. So you have to change your mindset, you have to change your behavior, the things that you do, how you react to things, if you're quick to get angry, you have to check yourself immediately, because that's ultimately going to trigger your child to wanting comfort, and their comfort is boob. So you have to change your behavior also in terms of what you do throughout the day. You have to accommodate the fact that they are going to need to be distracted, just at least until you develop a schedule, until you get to a point that's more comfortable. One of the things that has been annoying through this process was, well, we'll get to that later, but there have been some regrets in the process, but let's just stick to the positives. You have to change your tone on how you speak to them. Speaking from experience, speaking to myself and to you, you have to change your tone. You don't have to be baby, but you don't talk to them like no. You have to be like, no honey, I'm really sorry. Like, you have to just seem a little bit more empathetic and sympathetic towards, you're taking something away from them. They can't speak, they have no control, they're confused. You have to empathize with the fact that you are basically robbing them of something that they've just been so familiar with their whole life. It's their security blanket. Change your aura, change your vibes, how you're going about the day. Allow yourself a moment to cry if you need to. Take 5 seconds. Don't take 5 minutes. Take a couple, like a minute or two to cry. Wipe it off, dust it off, because sometimes if you need to release that energy that's just getting pent up, you need to release it. Put your baby in the crib, sit them in front of the TV for a minute or two, get it out, and then dust it off, pick yourself back up, and go through the rest of your day. You have to remember the bigger picture. There's an end goal. Remember that this is their childhood, so you have to be gentle. Remind yourself this is not just about your freedom, but this is deep, but this is about not only your freedom and growth, but theirs as well, because you're going to help them be free to have more to do with their day than being latched onto you. You're going to help them grow to be more independent with eating food, and it helps snap you back to going back into gentle parenting when you think you've already had enough of the day. So these are just gentle reminders that I remind myself frequently. So the tips that I have grabbed from articles, from other YouTubers that stuck well with me, because not every tip that they say does not work. It's actually quite frustrating because it's not a generic thing. This is not something that's just going to work for every child. Put a bra on. If you're not used to having a bra, put a bra. I don't mean a breastfeeding bra, I mean a real bra. A bralette, a sports bra, one that has a wire. Put something on to make these guys, girls, the twins, less accessible. That goes on to the second thing. Get dressed for the day. Layers is important, because if you make yourself less available, less accessible, they will try. They will continue to try. She continued to try for quite some time. But after a while, once routine starts to set in, they start to forget. They start to give up trying. They start to think, okay, you know what? I'm going to get boob after nap, so it's fine. If they want it and it's not time, offer them something else, because oftentimes I feel like she would latch on and she was just thirsty. So offer them a cup of regular milk, oat milk, almond milk, whatever you're supplementing with, whatever you're okay with giving your child that's already a year old, or water. And it would placate her. Offer a snack. If she was hungry and she's just trying to fill herself up with milk, offer her food. Offer her fruit, pasta, a snack, actual lunch, you know, second lunch, whatever it is. Cuddles and kisses and soothe help a lot. And it also helps the vibe and the tone in which you approach it. Bring them close, but try not to be like, no, like you need to, because there would be many times that I'm trying to hold her, but because I'm mommy and I'm the one with the milks, she would still go, she would still dive, she would still try to kick off of me because she didn't want my hugs and kisses, she wanted my milk. And it's hard, and it does have its low moments, this whole weaning process, because you feel like, bro, like you don't even want me, you just want my milk. Like you feel a little bit useless, honestly. I do. So, and then the don't offer, don't refuse tactic did not work for me. That did not work. I'm pretty sure this goes along the lines with things that didn't work for me, like later on, but we'll just say, because I have it posted here. Don't offer, don't refuse, that tactic did not work for me because she would ask all the time. So if I wasn't offering it up, fine. But if she would ask, I can't refuse? No. So my tactic was don't offer, try to diffuse. Don't offer, try to diffuse. So yes, you would have to refuse if it's not on schedule, but distraction was key until it's time. So try and diffuse the situation. So don't offer, try to diffuse. And I think that just brings us to the end of my two-week journey here. It's been a process. I'm more confident. I'm hoping to come back with a timeline as to when I fully weaned her off, and maybe we'll do a Q&A at the end, because when I say Q&A, I mean like telling you like my thoughts, my regrets, my wins, my losses, how I feel after all this. Right now I'm still in it. Right now I'm still in the process where it's just like I really just want her off, because even the 3 feeds feels like a lot for me, but we're getting there. It's slow, it's happening, and even in this journey I have not been deterred as to trying to breastfeed again. I'm actually looking forward to breastfeeding again if we have another kid, but I would have learned from this process, if the other kid latches on first of all, but I would have learned from this process to be a little bit more methodical when it comes to exclusively breastfeeding or pumping or whatever it is. So that's the end of my 2-week recap. Okay, I'm busted. I almost forgot to record this, but listen, this is real life. Today is Monday. I will mark the date somewhere. September 18th. Now is the official day of me dropping all midday feeds, and I am hoping to just do morning and night. I will try to do this for a week because I think all I need is a week. And we'll see how that goes. I actually waited 2 weeks to drop the midday feeds. I dropped pre-nap first and then weaned 2 weeks of that. Now I'm dropping post-nap. So we'll see how she takes it. She's guiding me because today she actually skipped her post-nap milks. So it's kind of pushing me to be like, okay, she's kind of ready. She doesn't need it, she just wants it. So whatever you do. Okay, so I'm coming to you live. She skipped her nighttime feed. I didn't intentionally, I wasn't like, I guess you could say I wasn't ready to start dropping it because I just dropped the day feeds. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna enjoy the morning and night feeds just for a little bit. Right after her birthday, I was gonna start dropping them. She just totally skipped the night one last night. And the night one is the one that I'm like, she's gonna have a hard time skipping. Actually, well, for both the night and day, because she looks to the night one for comfort. You know, that's her cuddle time. And she just skipped it. And it was unexpected. I felt like I was supposed to feel sad because I was actually looking forward to the cuddles, but I still got cuddles. She's a cuddler. But I think because I was fun and I was looking forward to that intimacy, I was like taken aback, and so part of me felt like I should feel sad. I didn't feel sad though. Right, scoops. My neck is all messed up because she woke up early. Thank you. She woke up early. Sorry. And I had to look at her. I gotta stretch. Anyway, so I don't know if I'm gonna make this the official start of like her dropping her night times, but because if she asks tonight, I'm not gonna deny it because I wasn't prepared to start actively dropping it. But if she skips tonight, then that means that she's ready herself. So we'll see. You want milk, don't you? Okay, hold on. Like actual milk for her cereal. Good morning. She finally slept through the night. It's been a week. She's been going through something. I don't know if it's teething, if it's progression, or a little sneak peek of the 2-year sleep regression, just all of the things. I know I've also been a little bit anxious. I don't know if it's my vibes, but we've successfully dropped the night feeds right before her 2nd birthday, so she's only doing mornings, and I don't think I got to this point. So I don't know how much time's passed. I'm going to have to, editing me, it's gonna have to go back, gather all the videos, date this. I'm actually gonna have to go back to properly talk about how long it's been and my plan and how things went, but it's officially day 3 that we have dropped the morning feed. The first 2 days, and it's been consecutive, yesterday and the day before, I had to cut her off cold turkey because she was not dropping the morning feeds at all. It was like, and I know that my supply has dropped, it has decreased significantly because we've dropped all day feeds and night feeds, and it's been like that for a couple weeks. So I made the decision, the executive decision, to cut her off cold turkey because I don't think she was gonna wean off the morning feeds on her own, but I do feel that I was gonna need to help her, and I do feel that after this hurdle of her not wanting it, that she'll end up being happier. The first 2 days, first 2 mornings, she was screaming her head off. She was not having it. She was not happy. And I just had to really muster up through the exhaustion, through... You're not gonna get a pretty video. There's not gonna be blurred background, the noise level. This is my life. I just had to console her through the screams, through the thrashing, until she got to a point where she was so thirsty enough that she wanted water. And then after I gave her water, she calmed down. But this morning, which was morning 3, she woke up, didn't even ask for milk. And I had to get out of bed because if I stayed in there any longer for cuddles, it would have just resorted to her asking. So I don't know how long it takes to build a habit for kids. I don't know if it's like 4 days. So I'm hoping that tomorrow she doesn't ask again. And then we will officially have weaned completely. And it's been officially 2 weeks since her 2nd birthday. So I'm going to go back in the footage, kind of refresh my brain about how long this took, and then I'm going to come back and talk to you in detail, recap my feelings, all of the jazz, all of the trying to think of something that rhymes with jazz. But yeah,